Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be having a look at a scenario where civilization starts over. First event in this video, we are going to have a lot of expansion because of course we have all of these new countries. They have a lot of money and you know what, just use that money on expansion and hopefully getting more powerful. So all of these countries are going to collectively expand, meet up with their old owner, Kuwait. But it's just this Indian country who's actually going to go opposite. Don't worry, they're not going to become the superpower yet. But yeah, we're going to see some expansion. First of all, this one over here. These guys are they're not the richest one, but they certainly do have a good leader, and he will expand quite a bit. This one is quite rich. They're gonna get most of this bay, and they're also gonna move around here, connecting up with this guy. Over here, this country, they're quite rich because, they have a river running through them. It doesn't go anywhere, but they don't know that. And also this country down here, which is extremely rich. These guys, they're on a peninsula, and they're sort of they were the, Jesus Christ. They were the grounds to get to this bit of India and this bit of India. And Kuwait used that a lot, hence money. And these guys will be able to expand throughout all of their peninsula and even go up. This Indian team is also quite rich. They have a lot of people in them. Kuwait, they're one of Kuwait's favourite colonies, oligarchs, and they will be expanding quite a lot as well. Put that around it. But there are still more, like like the Oman countries. This Oman will be expanding like this. The United Arab Emirates will be expanding into more of more of their country and south. This one, which I'm just going to call Oman, I'm going to call these guys the Trucial States because I think there's a country in Wicso called that. I don't know if there are anymore, but there was a country in Wicso once called the Trucial States, and they were in that area. And Qatar will also expand south, and they will expand up to these guys. These guys, they're rich, but they're in a sad situation. They're between Qatar and Kuwait, and they might get crushed one day, but they're not going to get crushed yet. Kuwait will also expand, which is interesting because, they just lost a ton of money, but they're still very rich. This Persian colony is quite good at expanding. They're going to expand quite a lot, like that. And now it's only this one small green Iranian country who will expand a modest amount, and they are all happy with their expansion. So let me draw in some, cities and fix up the borders. And just like that, we see the Indian states have expanded. Oh, not Indian. The previous colonies have expanded, and they are now looking quite good. But now going elsewhere to Greece. Greece is a very interesting topic, and they've been expanding quite a bit recently. Of course, they've had their democratic revolution, but then they've sort of, beaten up Adriatica in a big war. And now they're going to face another coalition. Greece cannot get a break. So members of this coalition will be, it's going to be these two countries, Bulgaria and South Adriatica. South Adriatica has been rising recently, and Bulgaria has always been quite strong. They're very populated, but the plague is sort of there. And by the way, now we are in the plague, as all the bodies over here, collapsing nations and stuff, with all the dead people. But these are all the power rankings: navy, economy, population. Sicily's number 1, Turkey 2, France 3. Greece is actually 4, which is very interesting because Greece has always been very populated. So yeah, this is very interesting. You should have a look at this. But now going back, the coalition will invade Greece. They're going to begin their invasion over here, taking 2 towns and besieging the city over here. And the Bulgarian navy will move in to encircle it, and they begin doing quite well. Over here on this front, South Adriatica will advance into Greece. With their strong land force, they're a very patriotic nation, even though they've just spawned in. And they're actually going to march on the Greek capital instantly. And when they get there, they're met with the horrifying realization there is a massive Greek army that has been mustered. And yeah, they get absolutely destroyed in the next battle. The Greek cavalry is superior. every Greece has just got a better army than these guys, and they're going to be pushed all the way out of the country, where they meet in this town right on the border for the largest battle so far of this war. Greek troops will move in, and the battle of this town has begun. And yeah, Greece wins, and the king. Wait, do they have a king? Let's have a look. Why they should not have an idea? Okay. Anyway, the leader is killed, and this is not good. They're being boom. The capital will fall, and without a king to guide them, these guys are a monarchy. I don't know what happened to my map up here. I did all of this, and it's all undone itself, which is really sad because I spent a while doing that. So yeah, that happened, and also now Bulgaria is shocked. They're like, what the hell just happened? Our ally, who we thought was like decently powerful, just got smited by Greece. So Bulgaria will now ramp up their invasion, and they will march towards the massive Greek army, and they'll meet them in this town and have another massive battle. And this is a very even battle. We're looking about maybe 90,000 to 100,000 men on each side. And the Greeks barely win the battle. It's very, very costly, but the Bulgarians are retreating, and they're actually gonna, stay in these two towns. It's quite a fortified place, and these towns have good connection. But they're gonna stay here for a bit. But down south, a very skilled Greek general is destroying the Bulgarian forces, and he'll begin moving in, which is very, very interesting. Bulgaria did not think Greece would move in very early in the war like this, but they're going to take a city and two towns, and Bulgaria is getting a bit worried, and they're going to send out a cry for help, and they kind of get an answer. Turkey is going to start sending them a lot of aid and a few mercenaries, but Bulgaria will have to pay for this, and they don't pay for it, which makes Turkey angry. So yeah, they're under threat from Turkey now. But the Bulgarian armies now they've restocked. They're going to fight the Greeks again. They're going to chase after this one Greek army until they meet them at this town, and they begin another massive battle. But in this battle, the Bulgarians are just it's very decisively. Why can't I speak English today? They're decisively defeated, and they're sent absolutely packing. Bulgaria knows they're losing this war, and Greek troops will push in from all sides. Many skilled generals are destroying Bulgaria from the inside out, and eventually Bulgaria is going to try and sit down with Greece, but Greece is going to get all of its forces, and they're going to march on the capital, and they're going to lay a massive siege, and they can't really do anything about it now. The Greeks have completely destroyed the rest of Bulgaria. There's a few hideouts and stuff, but in the end, it's not much, and Bulgaria will completely fall. So let's have a look at this peace treaty. Having a look at this peace treaty, we can see that Bulgaria has lost a lot of land, and same with Southern Adriatica. But the script parallelogram alliance will stay together, as Greece, they kind of forgot to no, they didn't forget. It's just they didn't see this as much of a threat. If they need land, they can just they would sweep Bulgaria at this point. And Greece is getting powerful, and this will raise the concerns of nearby powers such as Ukraine, Turkey, and Sicily. But that's not for this episode. And the next thing happening is actually in relation to Sicily. Recently, after the Crusades, Sicily, they didn't join the Crusades. They were they had a disagreement with the Red Team at that time, and that kind of made them not want to join, but they regret not joining now. And they're going to create their own alliance, which is the 3-Point Star Alliance, and they're going to create it with Adriatica, a very influential nation. Sorry, it's too late. I cannot talk English. And also, they will get this Portuguese country over here to join, or Faro, because it's technically in the place of Faro. And this is where rivalry begins between France and Sicily, who can beat each other. And the answer will be revealed not today, but in another episode. Next thing happening is even more expansion around the world. There isn't much war to be fought right now. Of course, there's going to be some wars over here, but they're not really too relevant. I'll show them in a minute. But the major expansion happens. So the first major expansion will happen over here, and this Mesopotamian country, who has literally just formed, they're going to expand all the way over to the Caspian Sea, which kind of angers Turkey because, Turkey wanted to do this. But the Turks, they're going to have to go expand somewhere else because, they don't really want to fight these guys, even though they'd win. So they're going to explore the rest of the Caspian Sea, which costs a lot of money, but may be beneficial for them, as they're going to send a ton of scouts around. And these scouts, they're going to do their job and they're going to scout. And just like that, all of the Caspian Sea has been discovered. And now we've sort of entered the era where the countries without the plague over in this area, they're going to be expanding quite a lot. And Kuwait will also expand, but not too much because they're not the best country to live in right now. Before they definitely were, but now they're not. And they're going to be claiming this land. But we're not done for Mesopotamia, because Mesopotamia is going to be making a massive claim over all of this land. And this really annoys Turkey. And Turkey is going to make a few landings over here, where the Wicso green team is. And in this bay, also down here. And these landings, they're going to link up, and sort of Turkey's going to get their own colonies here. This is going to make them a bit of money, and they hope it will be sustainable. But Mesopotamia is still expanding north, and Turkey sees this as theft. They're stealing the land that we explored. Go explore your own land. They're going to tell this straight to Mesopotamia. Mesopotamia is going to go womp womp. I honestly do not care. Just, frick off and try fight me. Just like that, Turkey has now found themselves a new enemy of Mesopotamia. And maybe these two will go to war soon, but again, not this episode. And over here to Poland, we're going to see a few alliances form because this area is very divided. So let's have a look at the alliances. The first alliance will be a extremely odd alliance. Oh my god, there's a fly in my room. No, fly, I'm trying to record a wicso episode. Can you see? Okay, so first of all, Poland is going to create the alliance, and all these countries are kind of rebelled from Poland. But these guys will join. They're a very interesting country. They're sort of democratic. Also, this other green team will join. And then a red team origin country will form. No, join. I can't talk, please. But now we get into a war. This country is getting very, very strong. Well, yeah, for their size, definitely. And they're going to be declaring war on a Polish state next to them. And the Circle Alliance, they're going to get involved. They're going to begin sending a ton of aid and anti-Germany propaganda. But the dictator of Germany does not care, and he's going to circle a massive amount of troops and take a city. And this small Polish country will inevitably fall over to the Germans or the Teutonic Order, but I know that's all the way over here. But it's not the Teutonic Order. But boom, that happened. And also this country will also be invaded. But the controversial thing about this is these guys, they were feeling threatened by the expansion up north, and they've joined the Circle Alliance, but it's too late because the Teutonic Order, or Germany, Imperial Germany, I'm going to call them Imperial Germany, they're going to march on the capital, and this country is not very strong, so they're going to take it, and this country at this point is going to collapse, and the Circle Alliance has just found itself at war with the Imperial Germans. So who will come out on top? A ton of weak countries or one strong country? The first thing happening will be a Polish offensive over here, taking a city. And down here, this gold country will be commanded to send a ton of troops up north. But it doesn't really work because this gold country is very, very unstable. Yeah, they're not very stable. Making them this, these guys don't exist anymore. But they are probably orange, maybe even red. Dark red's a bit of a stretch, but I think they're orange, close to red. And they're going to be completely folding instantly. Like, this red country is going to take advantage of this and take the capital city, and then this country will completely collapse. Boom. And now up north, oh no, not Adriatica. The Polish offensive will kind of stall because, the Polish armies are kind of demoralized already because of this. But they're going to keep fighting. No. But a new country will be joining the war, and it will actually be a union. These three countries will unionize to form Leningrad. And Kaliningrad is probably a bit stronger than Poland, and they look very, very good on this map. And they're about to look even better because they've just declared war on the Circle Alliance, and they're moving in to this small green country, and their capital is going to fall. This is a very large jumping, and this green country will be getting completely crushed. And now it looks like the Circle Alliance is definitely going to lose this war. But a new country will be joining on the side of the Circle Alliance, and it will be this maroon country. They haven't got a great army, but they are truly known for their cavalry, and this will be shown when their troops and cavalry, mainly cavalry, their cavalry is very good, maybe the best in the world. They're going to march through, and yeah, they're going to march straight up to the capital city, where they're going to have a massive battle with the Kaliningradians, with Kaliningrad, and they're going to win this battle due to their superior cavalry. But during the battle, some of the horses were taken from the enemy base, and they're now being studied back in Kaliningrad. You know how we make our horses faster and stronger. And yeah, the reason they're so good over here is because, boom, a ton of plains, a few hills so we can, train the horses. So yeah, very good horses down here. And they're going to continue with some shocking victories up north until they nearly get back to the border. But it's here that, Kaliningrad will finally lock in, and they're going to ambush a massive group of forces, and the cavalry can't do much there. And now they're on the run, but the cavalry aren't. And the horses they're carrying this country is now going to go back and forth for a bit. But over here, the Imperial Germans are going to push the Polish out. And yeah, the war still looks like it's going horribly for the Polish. But now the Imperial Germans, whatever, they're going to start an offensive into this green country who falls very quickly. And now they're going to start their main offensive in Poland. But yeah, this is very hard because, the Polish people are just not going to let their nation fall like that. So they're going to get repelled. And it's now over here to this maroon country. And Poland is going to go over to them, and they're going to be like, you know what? Screw you. I'm out. And the maroon country has joined the war for a good cause to protect the old country of Poland. And the said old country of Poland has just abandoned them. Now what do? They're fighting a two-front war with no allies and nothing to lose. But they will fight, and they won't win because they're getting crushed on both sides. Now the full force of both of these countries are crashing down on this Warsaw country, and the cavalry ain't doing nothing about this. And it's now that this country is just going to decide, let's just surrender. And that is going to mark the end of the first Polish red team conflict thing. So yeah, let's make a peace treaty. And this is the oh my lord. Okay, no, I'm ending this. Just kidding. This is the result of the war, and yeah, it's not looking great for these other countries. The only countries remaining from this war are these guys, and these guys. They've all been severely wrecked, and they probably won't make it out of the plague. But since of all the bloodshed, the plague has gotten worse over here, and maybe even worse when the wars continue. But this is where I will end this episode. Thank you all so much for watching.